Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Kathy Durham joins us. She's a Democratic candidate for CD2, among many, here for the whole show on all new Nevada Newsmakers.
My whole life has been public service. It's about people. And when we work together instead of yelling at each other, we get things done. We don't always get everything we want, but that's our system of government, give and take. We don't give up, we keep working, we keep pushing. And when we break ground on Nevada's first children's hospital, when crime rates come down, and when graduation rates improve, that motivates me. That's why I do it.
You'll be rolling with some swag during the $150,000 Spring Bling giveaways at Tamarack Casino. Make it rain with up to $5,000 in cash every week and 20 large in cash guaranteed during the grand finale drawing. We're blinging in your good times at Tamarack Casino.
2025 is bringing big changes for Nevada businesses. If you have more than 5 employees and have been operating for 3 years or more, you must now comply with new state retirement plan mandates. The Vegas Chamber 401k plan makes it easy, offering a proven, customizable, and cost-effective plan for employers and employees to save with tax advantages. Visit vegaschamber.com to explore options and see how the Vegas Chamber can help you start saving for your future.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org. At Nevada Urban Indians in Reno, your health is our priority. Our medical clinic welcomes everyone. We accept all insurances, ensuring quality care is within reach. Nevada Urban Indians, your partners in health.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, I'm delighted to welcome back to the program Kathy Durham. She is a candidate for CD2 on the Democratic side from West Wendover. For those that may not know, that's up in the extreme northeast corner of Nevada. She is a teacher and a former city council person. Pleasure to have you back on the program. And the reason I invited you back on the program, because there's a ton of candidates and we can't have them all. I know that one of the public radio stations in Northern Nevada is going to try to interview all 27 candidates that I believe we have so far, but we can't do that on this show, so I have kind of a waiting list. But what happened was after your previous appearance on the show, the number of people that came to YouTube to watch that appearance was phenomenal. Yeah. I mean, literally phenomenal. And that made me want to have you come back and talk more about what you're doing. We were just chatting before we started taping, and you said one of the things that's different about you is that you're a rural Democrat. And explain that and what that means for people that may not understand that, especially our friends in Southern Nevada.
Sure. Well, first of all, thanks for having me back on the show. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks to everybody that watched so I can come back. But what does it mean to be a rural Democrat? What it means is that I grew up in the big city in Salt Lake, and then I lived on a farm in Camas. And then I moved to West Wendover, Nevada. And when you live in the rurals, it is a different way of living than living in the big city. I mean, take nothing away from people down south or over here in Reno, but it is a different way of life. You don't have the amenities in the rurals that you'll find in the bigger cities. It's a slower pace of life. It's a different set of economy. It's ranching, farming, mining, as opposed to the service industry or the casinos. Access to healthcare is much more difficult. Kids have to make choices about whether they stay at home after graduation or do they venture off to someplace away from home to further their education or to get a job that's suitable for them, or even the housing market. So it comes with, and each community is different. Every community is different. A mining community is different from a ranching community, which is different from a casino town. And so it comes with its own set of problems and challenges. And I know those challenges because I've lived it for 26 years. And as a teacher and a coach, I've traveled throughout this district and been able to go to each one of these towns and get to know them and know the people and understand what it means to be a rural Nevadan.
Okay, and what has that taught you?
Well, it's taught me that we, first of all, have so much more in common than divides us. Yes, we have our own unique challenges in terms of our industry and keeping our kids, access to opportunities. But we all, at the end of the day, want to know, how am I going to put gas in my tank? How am I going to put food on the table? How are we going to afford the rent? Or are we going to be able to get into a home? Access to health care. Those problems are the same no matter where you go.
And I've been making that comment for years because certainly back in the 80s, I traveled all over Nevada for the television station I was working for. And what I came away with that from was that there is no difference between the people living in urban Nevada versus rural Nevada, because they all have access to the same information, cable TV, satellite TV, whatever it might be. They just choose to lead a different pace of life.
Sure, absolutely. And the solutions to your problems or the issues that you're facing aren't always the same because you don't have access to the same resources. So you have to work within the confines that you were given and try to figure out, how are we going to make this work for us according to our way and how we need it.
One of the things about Wendover, West Wendover, because it's divided into East Wendover, which is in Utah, and West Wendover, which is in Nevada, is that there's huge casino gaming there, and that attracts a lot of people from Salt Lake.
Yes, it does.
Especially on the weekends.
Yes,
and it packs the town. In fact, and sometimes they have better entertainment and a larger, venue than a lot of places in the Reno-Sparks area. So it's an interesting economy that's somewhat different than one might expect.
It is a very interesting economy, and it's an interesting community. And so we are a town of about 5,000 to 6,000 Monday through Thursday, and then we explode to 20,000 to 30,000 on the weekend. And so that in and of itself is an interesting thing. But some of the issues that we deal with there are, again, access to health care. We have a clinic that's open, Monday through Friday, and a lot of times the licensing of the staff or the facilities that they have there aren't adequate to meet the needs of the people, and especially on the weekend when you have 30,000 people. And a lot of them sometimes are older because they're coming out, to gamble, the older generation, and they bring their healthcare issues with them.
Sure.
And so now you're talking about getting an ambulance and sometimes a helicopter to fly them back to a hospital in Salt Lake, and those are issues that we deal with. And then there's the issue of trying to diversify the economy so that you just don't rely on one industry, because we saw what happened during the pandemic as to how that impacts.
Yeah, and that's another whole show to talk about economic diversification. But let me ask you this. I'm presuming that you travel around to all the Democratic events in rural Nevada. Have you done that in the Reno-Sparks area? Are you well known? Are you barely known? Because you're going to have some serious competition in this race between one candidate who has tremendous exposure through her legislative experience and another candidate who ran last time and spent a lot of money to get name recognition. How are you going to play in that sandbox?
Well, I've been playing in that sandbox since I was the first one to get in this race. We're back in July.
And ever since then, I'm still teaching full-time, Monday through Thursday.
And then campaigning nights and weekends. And I have almost every other weekend been making the drive out to Carson, to Reno, Sparks.
And everywhere in between, east and west, Lovelock, Winnemucca, been to Fallon, getting ready to go to Ely again for a second time.
And ask me if they found somebody to sign the checks yet. It's another whole story. We'll get into that in another day.
Money, and but
right now I'm just focusing on learning the issues, getting to know the communities, talking with the people,
getting myself out there. I realize it's a job interview.
Yes.
And it's a job interview, and I'm doing my best job to apply for this job and put forth what it is that I bring to the table, because I don't believe that Democrats will win this seat if they don't have a rural Democrat on that ticket.
Really? Why?
Because I think for far too long the rurals have been overlooked. I've lived in the rural for 26 years, and I know what it's like to be dismissed. And when I go into these other small communities, they say the same thing. Big politics doesn't care about us. They never stop, they never come, they never listen, they never help. And whether that's true or not,
that's the
perception is reality.
So when you talk to groups in Reno, Sparks, Washoe County, how do they respond to you?
I think they've responded to me great. I love the people here. They're just, Nevada is full of great people, and they're very welcoming. They ask me good questions. They ask me tough questions. And
what's the toughest?
Well, I think for me the toughest is when they want to know a very specific policy that I'm going to enact. And I tell them, look, one promise that I made to myself on this campaign was that no matter what, I was always going to be my authentic self. This job is hard enough running as yourself. I can't imagine what it would be like to pretend to be something I'm not. And so part of being my authentic self is I'm never going to pretend to have an answer to a question that I don't know. And so when people are, what's your policy for homelessness, or what's your policy for this, I always want to bring it back to values. It's people over profits. It's communities over corporations. It's making sure that we have separation of powers, checks and balance, the rule of law, not this two-tiered system of justice. And it's about striving to fulfill the goals in the Constitution, especially in our preamble.
It's interesting because, you talk about economic development and diversification. Don't you need corporations to be able to do that?
Well, of course. I mean, you do need corporations, but corporations, if you look at what our economy today, we are looking at being in a second Gilded Age economy. You look at a corporation like the data centers that are now getting ready to, they've told Liberty that provides electricity to the Tahoe area, 45,000 residents, that you're going to have to find a new provider. And that is an electric company now serving a corporation rather than a long-established community. And so I believe in capitalism with a conscience. And what we have is corporations getting wealthier and wealthier and wealthier, and the average American is having less and less, and everything is going up. The corporations are driving up in the data center, they're driving up energy costs. They are gobbling up water that is precious to us here in Nevada. And then you're kicking people off of, the electric grid and telling them, go find something else.
Okay, so may I address,
Sure,
play devil's advocate with you here?
Oh, please.
Because your campaign sent me a note that you wanted to talk about this, so I did a little reading of some articles. And this is not unusual. This is a California community that's going to lose power from NV Energy once Project Greenlink is completed.
That is correct.
But we have this situation all over the West where people buy power from different places. And so whether it's more expensive or less expensive depends on the negotiating ability of that power company, which is in California. It's not a Nevada company. So I'm not sure that it's not an evil thing that Nevada or the power company is doing. And I will point out they are responsible for this program, but that doesn't have any bearing on what I'm saying here. I just think that that's the way the electricity works. With the data storage centers, and we've dealt with a lot of those and had a lot of those corporations on the program, they're coming up with more and more ways to be more energy efficient, including with water. And so I think that's the next big boost is seeing how you save water with these data centers, and I think that that's a positive thing. Also, you're seeing whole new ways of looking at electricity and generating electricity across the nation. Brad Crowell from the Nuclear Regulatory Commission is going to be on this program in a couple of weeks. And I hope to have him talk more about the potential for nuclear energy, not necessarily in Nevada, but across the country, to be able to help out.
Well, to me that sounds, and I understand what you're saying, but that sounds to me like a reactive rather than a proactive. Seems to me like we should be more proactive in making sure that we have that planning in place about how to more efficiently produce that electricity, how more efficiently supply the water and not drink up the water before we build the data center and then react and go, oh, we got a problem here because we just drove up your energy rates, by, $30 a month, and, your water has gone way down, which is going to cause your water rate. We should do the planning ahead of time before we do the growth. And I understand we always, that's one of the 5 economic goals is growth and efficiency. But it seems to me like telling people that you're going to have to go find it, a different energy source because we want to triple the amount that we're giving to them and we can't serve both. And so we chose the corporation, no matter who the people are. It's so close to the Nevada border, that tourism is still going to impact Nevada, I believe. And the fact that we're telling people over a corporation, well, who are we going to choose? We're going to choose the corporation. And, competition is also part of our capitalist system, and that's good. But when the idea is that the corporations compete for the business, that the people have to compete for the corporation. And so this is kind of what the people in Tahoe are going to have to do, because those energy companies know you need energy and you need it now. And cheaper doesn't always mean better.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be back with more with Kathy Durham, candidate for CD2 on the Democratic side after this time out.
Meet Nevada Health Link, Nevada's official health insurance marketplace. Your link to savings, selection, free assistance, and name brand health insurance, where 90% of enrollees lower the cost of their monthly premium. Everyone deserves access to quality health coverage, no matter your income or family size. Visit NevadaHealthLink.com. A few minutes could save you hundreds of dollars per month.
Nevada Health Link. Our plans are made for your plans.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com. Welcome to Story County, where history meets innovation, and a pioneering spirit continues to shape our future. At the heart of the Tahoe-Reno Industrial Center, we power the future with global leaders in technology and manufacturing, driving progress that reaches far beyond our county lines. From advanced manufacturing to tech innovation, our industries are creating thousands of quality careers, fueling a vibrant economy that benefits every Nevadan. But it's more than just growth. Our community is our foundation, supporting families, empowering local initiatives, and creating a place where everyone belongs. Be part of a legacy built on bold ideas and boundless possibilities. Join us in building a brighter future right here in Story County. Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Kathy Durham. She's a Democratic candidate for CD2. Are you shocked by the number of people that jumped into the race? My goodness.
I'm leading already. I got in this race when nobody was in, and everybody followed in. I said, follow my lead. So, yeah, I am. But I'm happy for the voters of Nevada because, like I said, it's a job interview, and this gives Nevada for a very long time. They have not had a choice like this. And so for the first time in a very long time, they've got an opportunity.
Well, you didn't have Democrats running. I mean,
in
the last go around, Greg Kidd ran as an independent. He's running as a Democrat this time. But you didn't even have a Democrat, which I think cost the Democrats a lot.
Well, yeah, you can't win if you...
Yeah.
You don't win if you don't get in the game, you know?
Well, I think it was, even though it seemed obvious from his policy positions that he was a Democrat, as running for an independent, a lot of people who look at the ballot are not as informed as we would hope they would be. They didn't see a D, and so they voted for the name that they knew, which turned out to be Amadei.
Yes.
Okay, so we've talked about this before last time you were here.
Sure.
Since your last appearance on the program, and now that you've been going out on the campaign trail, you've got a team now working with you. How's the money raising going?
Well, it's going. I think we've got some really cool surprises coming out this week, and I think it's.
I thought it was going to be this weekend. I was hearing that.
You know,
this is going to be in. This is not going to air for a couple of days, so
my team, which I absolutely love, you know, because they understand who I am. Is if we're going to do something, we're going to do it right. You only get 1 or 2 chances to make an impression. Now, I understand your first impression is important, but your last impression, what people walk away with, is also. And we wanted to make sure, because this is going to be so good, we wanted to make sure that we got this right. And so we've got a lot of exciting things coming. I'm really proud of my team and how hard they're working and how much they are really trying to make sure that the Nevada voters get to see who I am and see what I bring to the table.
Okay, we're going to take another break. Okay. And in that meantime, I'm going to have the crew come over here and we'll see if we can drag some of this out of you.
Okay.
We'll be right back after this.
We're the Peters family, 2 combat veterans, our daughter Elle, and our Liberty Dogs puppy in training, Cooper.
Cooper will grow up to be a life-changing companion to a veteran with visible or invisible challenges.
We're helping Cooper build focus and confidence so he's ready to support his veteran.
And we know he will help bring happiness and independence to his veteran's life.
So join us, become a puppy raiser, and change lives, one puppy at a time.
A power line is more than a power line. It's maintaining the bottom line for small businesses. It's keeping the assembly line moving for our workforce. For our brightest minds, it's meeting a deadline. It's on the front line with our heroes. And on the sidelines of the biggest games. It's a direct line to our loved ones. And it's a lifeline for the most vulnerable. There's a lot on the line.
You're in trouble with the law. It's easy to think you'll lose everything, but there is hope. I'm attorney Orrin Johnson. Your first step is to hire a serious attorney with the experience to successfully navigate the legal system for you.
Sometimes hope means addiction treatment instead of jail, and making sure you're treated fairly.
Sometimes hope means fearless trial attorneys will stand up to the government when they get it wrong. Call or text Orrin Johnson Law.
We'll make a plan.
You'll take back your life.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Kathy Durham. She's a Democratic candidate for CD2. With so many Democrats in the race, it strikes me, and also with what's going on nationally, between the war, the economy, and everything else, that the Democrats nationally have a better chance than they've ever had, maybe, to win big in this election cycle. CD2 has a major advantage on the Republican side, but we don't know, A, how many of the independents are really independents, or whether they're Republicans or Democrats, because I think most people lean one way or the other, even when they register as independents. They just can't vote in the primaries. But it's striking me that this is like when Arnold Schwarzenegger ran for governor of California when there were 50 people in the race. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And he won.
Yeah.
it says to me that you have a chance.
Well, yeah, I am the only rural Democrat, and I am the only Democrat who has taken on an incumbent Republican and won, which is what I did when I was running for city council. And I think this illegal war that we have going on, and now that talking about mobilizing ground troops and the amount of spending they want to put into that and how it's impacting our economy. Gas is going to go up. Well, it's gone up. Food prices will go up. Everything that's connected to the supply chain, fertilizer that we depend on for our food, all of those things. It's kind of a perfect storm for a blue wave, and I think the blue wave is going to happen here in Nevada as well, and I think it's going to happen with Kathy Durham.
I would say that there are those that would say that it's not an illegal war with the way that things were laid out, but I will leave that on the table for you and not debate it with you on it.
Okay.
I would say to you that the economy is James Carville said it best. It's the economy, stupid.
Yeah.
And with the way the economy is, it's already been very expensive for food, and now with gasoline, and we're getting the most trouble because of having to deal with California's regulations and the cost of energy coming from California. They've lifted the Jones Act to allow ships to transport cheaper gasoline and liquid natural gas to California to come to Nevada. So hopefully we may see a little bit of a drop in prices. But I appreciate you coming back. If you end up winning the primary, we've already got people willing to debate you. So we'll welcome you back. Good luck on the campaign trail.
All right. Thank you very much. KathyDurhamNV.com.
And we'll be right back.
The Road to Riches leads straight to the Carson Valley Inn. Cash drawings Thursday and Saturdays. Over 480 winners. Score up to $15,000 weekly. Plus one $10,000 cash winner and the $20,000 guaranteed grand prize giveaways. Free meals, free play, and more. Only at the Carson Valley Inn.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
Welcome to the Ahern Boutique Hotel, where luxury and warmth come together in the heart of Las Vegas.
We take pride in offering a one-of-a-kind experience for both locals and tourists.
Join us for handcrafted cocktails and an unforgettable experience. Joel's Chop House, the perfect place to savor views of the Las Vegas Strip.
Satisfy your cravings at the Ahern Chocolate Shop.
No smoking, no resort fees, and the parking is always free. The Ahern Luxury Boutique Hotel is your home away from home.
As always, you can watch Nevada Newsmakers 24 hours a day at NevadaNewsmakers.com. And our archive goes back to 2002. So you can look at all kinds of historic interviews right here on Nevada Newsmakers. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next broadcast.